Hey there guys, how we doing? I'm Alec, and this is going to be another Fat Fingers video. How are we doing here? Well, no, that's the right one. Currently, our operation is about to end in a few minutes. We're sitting at 28, which means we'll bounce up in 18 minutes. So we will improve our position from there when we get our points. This is today's operation. Not the best of days. However, I'm doing this video at like the last possible second. I wanted to get, you see we had 5 blue lines there. I wanted to get a couple of the hits from this operation recorded because there were some really great hits here. So that was a 5 blue lines day. This one was a 4 blue lines day, but that's Fang in 2, as you can see. That's always a good thing. The 600 here, this operation was kind of a stinker, and we're going to come back and talk to that. You can see once again Fang in 2. We'll talk about that. We've gotten Fang like 4 or 5 days, or 4 of the last 5 days. This was 5 blue lines, and then you saw today's already. This one, 1,024 force points. That's a pretty good day. So we have been doing really quite well, other than that one stinker, which we're going to talk about. And I wanted to share kind of a best of sort of video again to cover some of these hits, because there really were some good and creative hits in this mix. So I wanted, and I have 18 minutes before these 2 hits fall off of the replay, because if I go back here, you see the 833, which is just underneath the 988, no longer available. So don't want to miss these, because both of these happened to be SIMO hits, and they were very nicely done, and they were handled differently, so it's of interest to watch how they were handled. This is Mav on a Dioxin that is 1.9 million or something like that. I try to dance with a SIMO like this. My brick will always die. It's like she has a red light flashing over her head that says shoot me when I'm near a SIMO, so I was impressed that he pulled this off. Very good hit. So getting back to all of those Fangs, these guys are really getting sick of hearing me suggest Fang in 2, because I've suggested that quite a number of days. There was that one day though where the Fang didn't drop. You can see that there was a delay drop on brick there to keep her more, well, behind the Zookas, but also she's staying with the crowd here, which is crucial. When she gets out away from the crowd, the SIMO seems to fixate on her, and I don't know that it's supposed to do that, but that's always how it seems to work out. So he kept her, his landing kept her with the group of Zookas, and that was very nicely done. From here, 1, 2, 3, 4 shocks it looks like, and yeah, so SIMO, well handled. That one Fang sucked because it would have dropped, and it almost did drop, and I'm not going to show the replay on that. I thought about showing one of some of the other Fang in 2 replays. That one, Sven had the finish on it, and he had one of those hits. I mean, everybody's done this at some point in their Boon Beach life. You know, you go to land your troops on the beach and you tap quickly a bunch of times, and all of a sudden you look down and you've thrown 6 shocks, and your troops have not landed, and you have no GBE left. He went to throw smokes, and instead of 3 smokes coming out, 3 critters came out, and that sucked and ruined the hit. And he still almost finished it. He recovered enough from there to get the smokes out in time, get his troops into position. Here's Sven on Callisto, 226, and this one also has a SIMO to walk by. Delay drop is not really going to work in this situation, so he's going to handle this differently. Because by the time you get to this SIMO, brick will definitely have gotten out in front of the Zookas. So, yeah, so he had one of those hits where he threw critters instead of the smokes. He nearly recovered from it, and I'm not going to show that because he would be embarrassed by it. But honestly, I'm almost tempted to show it because it was such a disaster, and he still almost managed to save it. And I mean, the thing probably had less than 100k left on the core when he died. And if he had not thrown the critters, if he'd not lost the delay and everything like that, almost certainly that base would have dropped. And like I say, he would be embarrassed by that. Honestly, I'm not really upset by it. It's, you know, it's a game. Plus, I mean, we've all had those days. We've all been there. Everybody who has tried to learn Zookas has made that kind of a mistake at some point. Like I said, you know, instead of dropping your troops, you barrage. Instead of throwing smoke, you throw a med kit or something. Whatever it is, we've all done it. And it's kind of, you know, like, you could forget watching some of these hits. I get to see stuff like this all the time. Clever, creative, nasty hits. I get to see this stuff all the time, and you kind of almost get spoiled being in a group of players like this, because you get to see the best of Boom Beach. But the whole point of doing this is that it's really hard. That's why it's an achievement to try to push the leaderboard. It's really, really hard. And honestly, on any given day, it doesn't matter who you are or how good you are. On any given day, you can, one little error, the tiniest error. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shocks. Missed a mortar, not gonna matter. The tiniest error will ruin you. Which is the whole point of this. That's why this is fun. This is fun in the first place because these hits are hard, and if you screw up just a little bit, you still die. It doesn't matter, you know, you could be 97% accurate on a base. Some people, whatever, pick a base you like, Dredge, Dioxin, Waterloo, whatever. You could be 97% accurate, like successful in killing that base, but there's always going to be that one day where you gap a smoke. I haven't done that in a while, but you know, a couple months back, I was doing a Dioxin, actually. Maybe that's why it came to mind. And I gapped a smoke, and it was so embarrassing. I don't care how good you are. That stuff happens. And, you know, you could forget watching some of Sven's hits that he is a human being after all. So, yeah. Like that one day that was a stinker. So what? From this operation, this would be that day. Let's see. I had a Strange Attractors. That seems to be my thing lately. You're going to see another Strange Attractors in a moment. I wanted to show this hit by Perrins, which was a 190 complex. And part of the reason I wanted to do this is because the landing here was so nice. This was beautifully done with a laser on the beach. And this is a complex that I would not have liked because there are... I don't like complex anyway, I try not to hit it, but there are some defenses missing from the walk over here. Defenses that would normally be there, and that changes the way the Zookas walk, and that would have just... I wouldn't even have attempted it. There was a long pause here. I'm not sure what that was. Maybe he got a phone call or something. Anyway, when he drops his troops on the beach, watch these smokes. These are perfect. Perfect. The interesting thing about this hit was that he preferred to do this. Complex, 190, very long walk, laser on the beach. He preferred to do this, but asked not to be given sliding block in this operation. We are going to go back and watch the sliding block in this operation because I had called for it. Delay drop on Brick to keep her from getting too far out front. She is going to pop out front later on in this hit, and she is actually going to get a little ahead and peek. But he was trying to avoid that. I had called for sliding block. I love that hit. I hate complex. I don't hit it ever if I can avoid it. Perrins likes complex. It's just, you know, this is a beautiful walk. Are you seeing this? There is going to be a little peak later on, but this is a beautiful walk. So, like, it's obviously not a question of talent or skill when you say, you know, Perrins just does not prefer sliding block and had asked not to be given sliding block. That, by the way, right there, I don't know if you noticed, but a couple of the girls popped out the back of that smoke. That is why people normally mark this tower right here, the one closest to the building damage statue, mark it with an artillery. That's why people do that, because the Zookas then will auto-target that tower, and they'll be more likely to stay in your smoke here. They spread looking for targets. If you don't mark that tower. They spread indiscriminately looking for targets, and then that's what happens. So, anyway, I hate complex. I never hit it. Perrins here is crushing it. That's actually a very clean finish there. But yeah, he did that, but didn't want sliding block of all things. And then I offered to do it. Oh wait, was that not this op? Was this? Must have been. There it is. This is the day. This operation didn't want sliding block, and I offered to do it, and then Argus went ahead and jumped in and took it from me. I love this hit. He didn't want it. I don't, like, everybody has a preference. Everybody has a good day. Everybody has a bad day. Everyone has good bases. Everyone has bad bases. I love this base. I've done this base. If it's not 6 different ways, I'd be surprised. Various levels. I've done this with Scorchers. I've done this with Heavy Zuka Brick, Heavy Zuka Bullet. I've done this with All Zuka. I've done it with All Zuka and a Bomber in tow. I've done it with Scorchers. I've done it with Warriors. That was much lower level than this. I think that was like a Foxtrot sliding block, but still, all Warriors. Like, I love this base. Doesn't appeal to parents. So, anyway, yeah, I had called for this. Argus went ahead and jumped in front of me, and that's fine. But I did want to see how he did on it, since he went ahead and preempted me. Nicer version of sliding block, because the tower over here is not another rocket launcher. It usually is a rocket launcher, so in this case he can farm a little bit extra, which is great. Not too much, though. Alright, well, let's get on our horse here. Not too much, though. You can farm a little bit extra, but you can't farm all day. But, yeah, so that just being a sniper over in the corner, that's nice. Let's see, what are we looking at over here in the core? That's right. There was... So he's got Brick. I often prefer Bullet on this hit, to be honest, because shocks do get expensive, and you're going to need a few back here. Using Bullet can save some shocks over here, which is why I prefer going that direction. But he's gone with just the Zukas and Brick, so he is going to need to farm. He's going to need a good bit of GBE to get to the core. Obviously, you have to do a lot of smoking to get to this position, and then you have to smoke to get yourself over here. And then over here, you want at least 3 shocks, machine guns, this cluster of stuff, and then there's a random rocket launcher back there. Cool needs. Yeah. And it's good. I mean, this is a base where you can farm a whole bunch, but he needed to farm a whole bunch. Plus, you have to start by barding something. I mean, I get it, but still. Sometimes you dance with the devil, you get burned a little bit. He's going to kill the sniper so he can continue farming a little bit more, I think. Otherwise, he had a critter there. If he was just worried about killing the shield generators, he wouldn't have bothered with the sniper, I am thinking. And also, you definitely need the shocks here, because he did lose some girls, so they're going to need some time to stand and shoot. Very often, I mean, the health on this base is never especially high, so the core can be killed very easily. Even with Bullet, you don't get the damage bonus that you get with Brick, but it's a low health core, so it only takes a few rounds for the Zukas to kill it. But if you're lower on Zukas, then you're going to need to take more shots. And I do not know how he managed to avoid losing the delay there, but he did. And Brick popped out, like, straight out of smoke, but nothing has turned. Even the machine guns didn't turn, didn't have the time to look. Plus, and the other thing too is, I mean, you damage this core up by killing all of this stuff over here, so that makes it even easier to kill. So that was the all Zuka version of that hit. Interesting. So who have we? Did we do Perrins? We did Mav. We did Sven on a Callisto. That was Argus, and that means we have me left. And my hit is going to come from yesterday's operation. This was weird. This was very, very weird. The other Attractors that I beat was like a 226. This is about as, I mean, that was about as, I think that's as big as Strange Attractors gets. That's as many force points as it's worth. I don't know that I've ever seen it bigger as like a 262 or anything like that. This one was a nightmare, and I had stared at it for quite a while before coming up with a plan. You've got an extra rocket over here. These rockets are normally laser beams, which, I mean, that's not an improvement. Lasers suck, but the thing about rockets is they have huge range, so if these are laser beams, you are safe up here behind the core. When these are rockets, you are not safe. There is no safe space to stand there. Plus, there's an extra rocket over here, because I had considered getting very weird and coming over to this side and clearing. I had considered parking over here and trying to clear, but we can't really do that with extra rockets around. This over here messed that up. I had thought about trying to park over here. This rocket messed that up. Parking up here, there's a random extra mortar. I thought about parking over here. That's a problem. Plus, there's a laser beam up here in the corner, and there is always a grappler back here. Finally, I couldn't see any other way of doing this, but it needed to die. The guys had been nice enough to leave me this base. And so this is what I came up with, and this was weird, but this was fun. I guess not technically the most demanding hit in the world, but definitely took some creativity, I'll say that. So I have marked this shock launcher because I need it to be flash killed. It's going to keep me from being able to stand over here, left side of the core. And in order to save GBE here, I distracted everything with a bunch of critters and then resmoked very, very quickly. Those critters had to be placed pretty carefully because the mortar needed to see them, the shock launcher needed to see them, the rocket launchers needed to see them, and all fire on them. That would be difficult with lasers over here, by the way. Keep that in mind. The critters can be a real problem. So then smoke over this way and kill that weird random rocket launcher. Now I'm just sitting here waiting. My girls are killing stuff, but I need that flare to expire. I can't drop any more troops until that flare dies. So as soon as it does, shock the mortar on the beach and drop the rest of my troops. The girls are still doing their thing up here to keep them away from laser beam. I have smoked a few of them over, kill some stuff on the beach, and then run away from the weird random rockets over here, going up this side. And we're going to do some clearing because I can't really have this grappler behind me. I also don't want to have this laser beam behind me, but I can't have this grappler behind me shooting. Multiple problems here. Grappler or a laser beam is just getting shocked over and over again. I've got Sparky with critters specifically for dealing with all this one-shot stuff. And the last problem we're going to have to deal with is this mortar over here. Plus its buddy, the grappler. Less of a problem is the grappler there, but the mortar was really a problem. Also limited my parking spots. Sorry, I didn't mean to yank the screen around there. I got something on it. But I did not think this was going to work, and I'll tell you why I didn't think this was going to work. I have never actually seen this work on dead end before, where you clear on an Attractors. It might look like a benefit, honestly, to have a bunch of cells over here. Like, hey, free GBE, that's always good, right? It actually, in some cases, is not, because it distracts your troops. And we're coming from this angle specifically because I need to get the bombers in range of this mortar. And I need them to kill it so I can back up to the other side of the core safely and stand and shoot. So that should happen pretty soon. Bombers are at range. There we go. Okay. And we'll reflare a little bit. Your troops take too much time over here killing the free cells, and all of a sudden you run out of time on the hit. And that was what I was almost sure was going to happen here. It ended up, I think I had like 21 seconds left on the clock, and I was sweating. I did lose a few bombers over here while the troops were clearing. Some walked over into rocket launcher range, so they got picked off. This grappler over here, I'm shocking as I can. Trying to keep it from pulling too many of my troops away. Looks like, I mean, there are a lot of Zookas left, and it looks like most of the rifles are gone at this point. Still had a lot of time. The grappler wasn't the enemy, the clock was the enemy here. and it started to look like it was going to go, and even so, I was still just nail biter, because I've never seen this work on dead end. I've run out of time several times on this hit, and seen other people do the same. Probably helps that I have extra damage. This one is a 6 damage account, 5 GBE. I'm almost certainly this would not have dropped without that, but that was a weird and fun hit to do. Anyway, we are about to start, I believe. I don't know why we haven't yet, actually. 3 minutes to go. So, I'm going to sign off, but we really have been in great shape with the operations lately. Even with the stinker, like, okay, so what? The whole point of doing this, like I said, is, I mean, we're all human, and we make mistakes, and this is hard because you can't make mistakes. One little mistake, it gets you this. On any given day, I don't care who you are, the best player in the world can screw up, and when you screw up, you look like an idiot real fast. Actually, I have seen a person who is arguably the best player in the world, and I won't name any names, but he was one of the few Western players ever to top the global VP leaderboard, and I've watched him walk his brick directly into a SIMO and get her shot in the face on green court on the core rush. Just no plan for dealing with the SIMO, and he just marched his troops right up to the core, and brick, of course, got way out ahead and got shot. Like, the best, arguably one of the best players in the world, and you know, just stupid stuff like that. And his hit failed, obviously, because he didn't have brick, and it was green court. You know, anyway. So yeah, like, I'm not worried about this stuff. That was, honestly, that day should have been much like the rest of these. Let's see where we are, since we did start off by checking out where we were. Up to 26. Really? I thought we would have gone higher. What did we get on that last stop? 750. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible either. So, well, I guess that's just treading water for today. But anyway, we will press on, and I assure you we will be moving up this leaderboard. Dead is dead. I like that. That is pretty much our motto. Good for you guys. Cheeky. Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, I'm Yalik. This is Fat Fingers. Like the video, thumbs up, whatever. Check back in a couple weeks, and I'm sure we will have some more very fine booming for you. But in the meantime, I am out. Take care.